So March 4th is just around the corner and is going to be the day that Netflix realizes that they made a very deep mistake, a very serious mistake when it comes to their core customer base, because we already know that people are leaving in droves. Subscribers are beginning to unsubscribe, not just over the Meghan Markle drama and the fact that the executives, the board of directors there, are still pushing forward and really getting this thing out there, but also the rate increase is not helping at all one bit. Now, there's been a lot of drama happening both behind the scenes and in the public eye when it comes to Meghan Markle's involvement in the upcoming series With Love Meghan, which is already labeled as by far one of the most inauthentic shows by Netflix and the worst marketing campaign in history under Netflix, and we have a lot of reasons why behind that. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. So one thing about Meghan Markle, and we've said this before, she's very self-absorbed, narcissistic in nature, greedy, inauthentic, just a fake, phony individual that really tries to remain in the limelight as a quote-unquote, and I'm putting up air quotes right now, an actress, right? She's trying to cling on to that regardless of the fact that many studios are beginning to let go of her, either for small roles or cameo roles, and even commercial studios are beginning to drop her. We already talked about the whole Universal Epic Universe commercial contract deal that actually went downhill and really just got axed, and we also discussed how the Carnival Cruise Line's commercial contract deal went south as well. Now, we have a lot to talk about today when it comes to the whole Netflix situation, so stay tuned on that. However, with the Meghan Markle drama getting more intense both behind the scenes and in the public eye, one major development going on now involves more to do with the Netflix studio drama happening between Meghan Markle and CEO Greg Peters, along with the many Netflix executives. Now, a crucial update to this scenario now involves how Meghan Markle went through yet another meltdown after the many Netflix executives made a swift move to cancel a batch of more scenes related to the series With Love Meghan after yet another failed test screening just took place. Now, this recent test screening that was best described as a production disaster was for episodes 7 and 8, and already the board of directors called for an emergency meeting where this concluded to a point where 5 scenes will be scrapped for episode 7 and 6 scenes, of course, 7 and 6, of course, scenes for those actual episodes, and many of which will be axed for episodes 8. Now, that feature both Mindy Kaling and Meghan Markle. The main reasoning behind this is that the screeners' comments included that the chemistry between Meghan and Mindy were beyond abysmal for the last 2 episodes and considered a deal breaker for both episodes. Already, Meghan Markle is blaming the Netflix executives for hiring fake fans and even went as far to call the screeners as posers. The reality of the situation is that the Netflix execs brought in strictly Meghan Markle fans to watch episodes 7 and 8, and even her own fans believe the final 2 episodes were an absolute production nightmare. The acting, directing, writing, and line delivery, just to actually start things off there, were all considered to be extremely lackluster, and Meghan Markle is now demanding to bring in an entire new audience of screeners that were more mixed. To make matters worse for Meghan Markle is that then the Netflix executives are now taking the screeners' notes and reviews very seriously. These notes and reviews from all the test screeners over time resulted in a loss of over 2 hours of footage altogether, cut from the final version of With Love Meghan, that is now being recognized as last minute before they put the series up on streaming from March 4th. Now, Meghan is already demanding to show the deleted scenes at some point for the series, however, Netflix is refusing to do so. Now, guys, before I move on, let me just say one thing about this. Now, the test screeners, of course, that took part in this, a lot of them were indeed Meghan Markle fans. And whenever I say that, it's kind of funny because a lot of people actually say there are Meghan Markle fans, they exist. Well, they do exist, but they are a minority. There's not all that many out there. But one thing is for certain is that they took part in these screenings when it comes to episodes 1 through 8, alright? Now, the fact that Meghan is really taking a stand against the Netflix executives and CEO Greg Peters, calling them out behind closed doors, saying that the people that they dragged in to actually view these episodes were not actual fans. She's calling them phony fans, she's calling them fake fans, that they are actually critics of Meghan Markle. And basically that's her version of why this series is not performing well when it comes to the test screenings. Now look, this is very similar to Snow White 2025 over at the Walt Disney Company, and why that's been going through a lot of production nightmares. We know that there's a lot of issues going on there with the test screenings as well. Same exact thing, and ironically both projects star a Rachel. But moving onwards here, this is where it gets interesting, is that Greg Peters, the CEO, surprisingly convinced the Netflix board, who have been on Meghan's side for the most part, to keep those scenes locked up in a vault forever, never to be seen, and Meghan Markle is going through a phase of panic over this development. So that's another thing that I do want to clarify, alright? There's a lot of mixed things out there that Netflix is either against her or with her. The reason why you're hearing both sides is that the board of directors are with her for the most part. But when it comes down to the executives, the producers, Greg Peters, they are very critical of her. They have a lot of criticism of Meghan Markle, and that's why you have this internal studio battle happening for months now, alright? So moments of outrage were displayed at Netflix HQ, where Peters was name-called by Meghan Markle as the most incompetent CEO in show business, and demands a complete reveal of all the lost footage that was scrapped due to the failed test screenings. Markle was also claiming that the Netflix execs had an agenda by hiring phony fans of Meghan Markle, and her claim is that they actually were not her real fans, and that's her reasoning as to why the test screenings failed one after the other, as I discussed before. So again, that's a very poor claim to say that, oh, Netflix dragged in fans of Meghan Markle, but they weren't actual fans, they were phony fans. That is Meghan Markle's claim as to why these screenings are not performing well at all, and they are abysmal. They are beyond abysmal, because you're having a combination of everything failing. The writing, the directing, the producing, the line delivery, everything with the studio lighting, the sets, everything is just really not working for the show. And don't be too shocked if this is going to be considered the worst ratings disaster in history under Netflix. I would not be too shocked about that, alright? I'm not saying it will exactly be, but there's a very good chance it could go down that route. But overall, I mean, Meghan Markle, yet again, she's getting very much defensive, getting very angry and bitter, and we all know why. This has a lot to do with the fact that if this does indeed backfire that bad, Netflix is not going to want to do a contract renewal. Now, regardless of that, they still have a contingency plan to expedite the process of Meghan Markle. If this show does okay, they already have a season 2 all planned and ready to go. Now, that's exactly where things will fail if this actual show fails. They will actually pull the plug on that and move on. That's the overall plan right now from the overall board of directors over at Netflix. So again, Meghan Markle is not doing well right now. She's having a very tough time accepting the facts here that the test screenings, one after the other, failed miserably. Now, there will be another test screening that's going to go over the entire series through and through instead of segmented episodes. So I'll have a lot more to talk about that in the coming days, so stay tuned on that. But overall, I would like to hear what everyone has to say about the Meghan Markle drama, everything happening with Greg Peters, the board of directors over there at Netflix, and everything else going on in between. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.